This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/PsycheTruth.
Hey, it's Corrina, your virtual health coach, and I am here today to address something that I get asked about a lot, and that is pasta. Is it healthy? Am I allowed to eat it? Is this part of a healthy diet? So in this video, I want to give you a couple of different considerations and recommendations for my pasta lovers out there. I assume if you clicked on this video, it's because you love pasta. So let me know, what is your favorite type of pasta? Spaghetti, raviolis, my personal favorite, or maybe you are more of a macaroni and cheese type of person, but I would love to know your favorite pasta. Go ahead and comment down below. In a recent video, I shared with you what I like to call the hunger pie chart. And basically, I've gotten rid of my pie chart example, but I've just listed out a couple of the components here, things that contribute to whether or not we feel satisfied after a meal or whether we still feel hungry after a meal. So we're gonna be looking at a couple of those different components and talking about why some pastas may be a better choice than others, so that hopefully you have a little bit more tools in your tool belt, so to speak, when it comes to choosing a healthy pasta option. So let's start with our macronutrients: carbohydrates, protein, and fat. These are things that we need in every meal to satisfy our hunger. And depending on the ratios of carbohydrates, protein, and fat in a food, that's gonna be a big factor in whether or not that meal is healthy, AKA gonna satisfy your hunger. So we know that pasta tends to be really high in carbohydrates, and this is one of the reasons that people are typically advised to avoid pasta. However, it's important to note the protein and the fat, and the reason that I've put a little asterisk next to them is because the protein and fat content actually reduce the negative effects of the carbohydrates. They also contribute to helping to satisfy your hunger. So for just a second, let's take a look at these different blood sugar charts down here, which I think are super effective for helping you understand why some meals fill you up and some meals don't. So basically what we're looking at here is blood sugar on the y-axis, time on the x-axis, and basically we're talking about how quickly does our blood sugar elevate and how long does it take for our blood sugar to go back down. So here in the first chart, you could have the empty carbohydrates or processed food category. Things that are typically really high in carbohydrates but really low in proteins and fat are going to spike your blood sugar level up very, very quickly. When this happens, your body releases a huge amount of insulin to try and reduce the blood sugar. And what tends to happen is that it actually overcompensates past the point of you getting hungry again. So in the hunger pie chart video, I called this artificial hunger. Basically the idea that your body is interpreting hunger, even though it's just a creation of this blood sugar going up way too quickly and then being forced back down way too quickly. So even though this is a gluten-free pasta, right, I'm gonna stick it here because this is a pretty low protein, all right? And even though there is a lot of fiber, because this is basically just corn and quinoa pasta, it's still going to have more of a blood sugar spike than this banza bow ties made from chickpeas. So this one has 23 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber. So I'm gonna put that over here. And basically, even though we are still getting a lot of carbohydrates from this food, the presence of the protein and the fiber slow down the blood sugar spike. So now, not only does the blood sugar level not spike as high, which is very important for diabetics, right? but it also is going to not fall as quickly. So if you look at this one, you can see this pasta is still satisfying your hunger even after the time chart is ended. Whereas this one, you're already hungry again in a much shorter amount of time. So opting for a pasta with a higher protein and higher fiber content is a really good place to start. You could also just think about adding sources of protein and fiber to your pasta sauce in order to reduce the negative effect of those carbohydrates. So adding vegetables, adding in healthy fats, these are all different ways that you can reduce the glycemic load or the collective impact on your blood sugar level of that plate of pasta. Things like Zoodles or spiralized zucchini noodles have also gotten really popular recently, and largely it's because they strongly reduce your carbohydrate number, and we get a lot of those important macronutrients and micronutrients when we actually substitute pasta for a vegetable altogether. I also just want to mention, in case you missed my previous video about hacking hunger, one of the big components that's going to determine whether or not you feel your hunger has been satisfied after a meal is the presence of micronutrients. So a lot of diets really fixate on the macros, and those are very important, but your micronutrients are also a really important part of whether or not your hunger will feel satisfied. And I mention this in a lot of my videos because I think it's a really cool fact about the human body. Our mineral deficiencies or nutritional deficiencies often tend to show up in our food cravings. So for instance, salt cravings are going to tend to indicate a mineral deficiency. So making sure that we're getting plenty of micronutrients is also really important with our plate of pasta. So either eating it with a salad, making sure you have lots of vegetables present, or the last thing that I'm going to offer is maybe even substituting pasta altogether for something with a lot more nutritional benefits. So there are a lot of these different pastas out there on the market now, which are actually made from vegetables rather than being made from enriched flour. You could also think about swapping out pasta altogether for something like brown rice or quinoa, which actually is even more filled with these important nutrients that we need. Now, a quick note on that enriched white flour. One of the big reasons that I gripe so much about this ingredient, number one, is that it's in almost everything. And if you start reading your ingredient labels, you'll see it everywhere. But the second is that it's basically a nightmare of these macros. So what they do when they make enriched wheat flour or enriched unbleached flour, you see a lot of different things, but that word enriched means that they have processed the flour so much, they actually have to add some minerals back into it just so your body can digest it. So that's why it's called enriched. In my opinion, this is a really nice misleading thing to make people think that it's healthy. But the bottom line is that enriched flour is extremely high in carbohydrates, it's extremely low in protein, has no fat whatsoever, and it also tends to be very, very low in fiber. So if you remember my previous video about foods designed to make you overeat, one of the things that they do when they're processing the foods is to take the fiber out because they know it'll make you eat more of that food. So don't fall for it. Don't let them take up any more of your stomach share. And if you can, do your best to avoid that enriched flour as much as possible. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I really hope it was helpful for you, and I really hope you'll chime in down in the comments below. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know any other questions or video topic requests that you would like me to address in the future. I always love hearing from you guys. I have some related videos here that you can check out for more information. I hope that you will make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you've clicked the little bell so that you can join me for my very next video. Many of our subscribers don't see our videos. Make sure that you click the notification bell. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration.
Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.